In a room filled with millionaires, pressure, and priceless stones, Howard Ratner stood at the edge of salvation, or so he thought. In this video, we're breaking down one of the most critical and anxiety-soaked moments from Uncut Gems, the auction scene. This wasn't just a typical sale. It was Howard's make-or-break move, his chance to escape debt, danger, and destruction. Instead, it marked the beginning of his final downfall. If you've ever wanted to understand why this scene feels so intense, why Howard risked everything on a rigged auction, and what the moment really says about greed, ego, and illusion, then stay locked in. We're going to dissect the psychological tension of the auction scene, why Howard's plan backfires, even when it works, what this moment reveals about his inner world, and how this single scene sealed his fate. Let's rewind and set the stage. Before the auction even begins, we need to understand the storm brewing behind Howard Ratner's eyes. He's in debt, not just a little, over $100,000, and the people he owes aren't sending friendly reminders. They're locking him in car trunks, humiliating him in public, and threatening his life. One of them, Arno, isn't just a creditor. He's family, his brother-in-law, but Howard has a plan. The Ethiopian black opal, a gem pulled from brutal conditions in Africa, is his golden ticket, his miracle. He believes it's worth over $1 million and has it appraised for auction. In his mind, this is the comeback story. He'll sell the opal, pay off Arno, have a fat stack of cash left over, and prove to everyone, his wife, his doubters, even himself, that he was right all along. But things don't go as planned, because in Howard's world, they never do. The day of the auction, two things hit him like a truck. The gem is undervalued. Instead of being listed near $1 million like he expected, the auction house sets the starting bid around $125,000 to $175,000. It's a slap in the face. Howard feels betrayed, like the world is sabotaging him again. Kevin Garnett is ready to buy it outright for $175,000. That's money in hand, enough to solve a lot of problems, but not enough for Howard's ego. Because here's the truth. Howard doesn't just want to be debt-free. He wants to win. He wants to show the world that this rock, this gamble, was worth millions, because he believed in it when no one else did. So he refuses Garnett's offer and rolls the dice again. Realizing Garnett might not bid high enough, Howard orchestrates a risky scheme. He convinces his father-in-law to fake bid at the auction, raise the price, drive up Garnett's offers, and make sure the gem sells for more than $200,000. On the surface, it sounds simple, but what you're watching in this moment is a man building a house of cards on a windy day. Every fake bid increases the stakes. If Garnett stops bidding, Howard's father-in-law is stuck with a worthless rock. The sale collapses. Howard's deeper in debt, humiliated, and possibly dead, and the tension in this sequence is electric. You can see it on his face. Howard isn't excited. He's terrified because he doesn't have control. Not really. This is addiction in motion, disguised as strategy. Howard thinks he's playing the game, but the truth is, the game is playing him. This isn't just another auction. This is Howard Ratner's last shot at rewriting his story. The auctioneer steps up, the room settles, and the bidding begins. Howard's plan? Simple in theory, risky in execution. He's planted his father-in-law, an older, respectable man, as a fake bidder. The goal is to artificially raise the price of the opal, so Kevin Garnett has to go higher than he planned. Howard watches nervously from the edge. Every tick of the paddle, every new number called out, sends a tremor through his nerves. And then, something happens. Garnett hesitates. The bid stalls. Howard panics. He leans in, signaling with his eyes, whispering half-formed pleas to his father-in-law, like a desperate child trying to cheat fate. Because that's exactly what this is. Howard trying to cheat fate. But Garnett doesn't bid again, and now Howard is sweating bullets. His father-in-law is stuck. If Garnett doesn't bite, he's just been conned into buying a rock for $200,000 that no one else wanted. Worse, Garnett might walk away for good. And Howard knows it. The tension in this scene isn't driven by guns or violence, yet. It's all emotional, psychological. Every second feels like a loaded chamber. You're watching Howard in real time try to salvage his illusion of control as it crumbles. And for a moment, he realizes the gamble might not work. This isn't some adrenaline-fueled bet at a sportsbook. This is reputation, debt, family. His entire self-worth collapsing in a quiet, well-dressed auction room. Then suddenly, Garnet comes back in. He ups the bid, and Howard exhales. His plan worked. Barely. But the moment he smiles, really smiles, you know this isn't victory. It's another hit of the drug, because he doesn't look relieved. He looks high. That's the genius of the scene. Even when he wins, it doesn't ground him. It lifts him into another cycle, because now he's proven to himself that manipulation works, that fake confidence sells, that the world will bend if you just push hard enough. But here's the part he doesn't understand. The universe doesn't owe you anything, and the consequences you dodge today come back around tomorrow louder. The auction ends. Garnet wins the opal. Howard gets the money. And yet, he doesn't pay his debts. He doesn't make peace. He doesn't take the victory and walk away. Instead, he takes the money Garnet gives him and places a new bet, because he's not addicted to money. He's addicted to the chase. That's what makes this auction scene the moment everything shifts. On paper, it's a win. But emotionally, it confirms Howard's worst belief, that he can keep skating by on chaos forever. It's a victory that seals his doom. He did it. He sold the opal. He outplayed the system. He got the win. But if you look at his eyes, really look, there's no calm, no gratitude, no relief, just more hunger. Because for Howard, the auction wasn't the end of a journey. It was fuel for another chase. A confirmation that if you press hard enough, bluff deep enough, lie loud enough, you'll make it out alive. But that's the trap. That's the delusion. Instead of taking the money and paying back Arno, the man who nearly had him killed, Howard does the unthinkable. He makes another bet, and this isn't a small hedge. He takes the full amount, $165,000, and calls in his girlfriend Julia. Sends her out to place a three-way parlay bet on Garnet's playoff game. Now think about this. Howard has a clear way out. He's just gotten lucky. But rather than escape the fire, he pours gasoline on it. He's not a man at peace. He's a man who doesn't know how to stop. And this moment, right after the auction, is the most revealing part of the film, because it tells you exactly who Howard is. After the auction, Howard walks around like a man reborn. But it's all mask, all ego. He doesn't apologize to his father-in-law for using him. He doesn't make peace with Arno. He doesn't call his kids or reflect for even a second on how close he came to disaster. He immediately begins planning the next move, the next bet, the next gamble. Because for Howard, control isn't real unless he's risking it. He doesn't feel alive unless everything is on the line. The auction scene didn't teach him a lesson. It gave him a bigger stage. And that's the cruel irony. The auction was a success, but it enabled the worst parts of him. It told Howard, you were right. The world bends for you. Keep going. And so when he locks Arno and his goons in the vestibule and places that final bet, he's not being brave. He's being delusional. He thinks the universe rewards the bold. But he forgot. Every gambler's streak ends. And the higher the win, the harder the fall. That auction wasn't just a plot device. It was the moment the entire film pivots on. Before it, Howard had a way out. After it, he chose to double down. One more time. And that's why this scene is the true turning point of Uncut Gems. Not the final bet, not the shooting. The auction is when the story becomes irreversible. Because it proves Howard doesn't want freedom. He wants fire. Let's break down the symbolism of the auction. Auctions are supposed to be places of value, of order, of logic. You bring something rare, people bid, the highest value wins. But in Uncut Gems, the auction becomes another arena for Howard's addiction. He doesn't trust the system. He rigs it. He manipulates perception to inflate the value of the opal. He can't let things happen organically. He has to intervene. And that's the key. That moment reflects everything about his life. Howard must control the chaos, even if it means lying, cheating, and dragging others into the fire with him. In a normal auction, you walk away with the prize or you don't. But for Howard, the auction was never about the gem. It was about proving that he's right. That his instincts, no matter how reckless, will pay off. After the auction, Howard should have felt relieved. He should have paid Arno, closed his debts, and stepped away. But addicts don't stop because they win. They stop when they're forced to. And Howard? He wasn't forced to stop. The auction told him he was invincible. So he bets again, locks the goons in the vestibule, sends Julia to the casino, and the miracle happens. He wins. Again, for a moment, the fantasy becomes real. But then comes reality. Phil raises the gun, shoots Howard in the face, shoots Arno in the gut, because the house always wins. And Howard had been bluffing too long. The auction isn't just a midpoint, it's a mirror. It reflects Howard's illusion of control, his refusal to play by the rules, and his absolute need to win on his own terms. And it marks the moment where we, the audience, realize he's past saving. He doesn't want to live. He wants to chase. And even when the prize is in his hands, he throws it back into the fire for one more hit. That's what makes the auction scene so essential, so terrifying, so real. It's not the explosion, it's the spark. The point where Howard made the choice that would cost him everything while smiling. So next time you rewatch Uncut Gems, pay attention to that auction scene. The looks, the tension, the internal breakdowns. It's not just about a rock. It's about a man who can't stop rolling the dice, even when the house is burning down around him. Howard Ratner didn't die because he lost. He died because he won. And that gave him the courage to gamble again. And that's the cruel brilliance of Uncut Gems. If this breakdown gave you a new way to see the film, let me know in the comments, especially your thoughts on the auction scene. Did you spot something I missed? Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep-cut movie dissections just like this one. Thanks for watching. Until next time, don't let the illusion of control fool you.